Hi, my name's Terry and I'm the owner and founder of Bellarmé Academy. I've come on today to talk to you about our new ACP, Aesthetic Clinical Practitioner, Foundation Botox and Dermal Filler courses. I've put a lot of hard work into these courses, mainly because I wanted to take every student through it step by step. I know myself how scary it is to start an injectable course and panic when you're actually injecting real clients. We get inundated with people messaging us, asking us where they start. Obviously, the starting point for any kind of injectable training is anatomy and physiology, or a level 3 in beauty. So we actually teach the level 3 anatomy and physiology that you can do first. So you would need to have that as a prerequisite before you start the course. Now, prerequisite is something that is needed to be able to go onto a course. So if you see that word, a couple of our clients do get a little bit confused by it, especially when you're new. And there's nothing wrong with you being new and stepping in and you've never done any kind of beauty before, as long as you're being trained correctly. Now, there's a lot of providers offering one-day courses, which I personally don't feel is enough for an injectable course. So I have put blood, sweat and tears into this course and try to provide as much as I can to give you the best training possible. I'm not saying that other providers are not good at what they do, but there are a lot of injectable trainers popping up now that are offering it at really discounted prices. It wasn't the prices that you would get the courses for now when I first trained in it years ago. So there's a lot of questions that get asked around this course, and one of the main ones when they contact is, what do I need? Which is what we was talking about. The anatomy and physiology is a must. But the only thing with the anatomy and physiology is that it doesn't cover the actual facial muscles in detail. So I decided with both of our foundation courses to add in with the course our online facial anatomy course, which you would have to do first before coming in onto it's part of the course. So with the botulinum toxin course, which of course, all of you will know it as Botox, but Botox is a trade name. We're not allowed to use the name Botox because it's trademarked to the company. So you will see on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, no one is offering Botox. That's because we have to call it by law anti-wrinkle treatment. So that is a big thing. I think it came into effect last year. It might have been the year before we've had COVID, so who knows? I can't remember how long ago it was. But I think there's not a lot of information there for new people coming into the industry. It's a great industry to come into, as long as you've had the right training. I have had a few girls contact me that have been trained during lockdown, which personally I don't agree with, because you need the physical hands-on. They didn't do the hands-on training, and now their training provider gave them something online, no manual, and they've lost their money. So you really do need to look good into the injectable courses and look hard at, one, who's training you, how long they've been injecting. I've been injecting over 8 years, but that doesn't mean I'm any better to somebody that's been training for 2 months. It just means I've got the experience of injecting. I've got a lot of knowledge. I've got over 200 qualifications, starting from permanent makeup, laser. We teach VT, CT right the way up to level 5. So I am experienced. I have got a lot of experience in dealing with aesthetics. We do a lot of training courses, which you can find on the website. But today we're talking about botulinum toxin, Botox, and dermal filler. So one of the other main questions we get asked is, am I allowed to inject somebody because I'm not a doctor, or I'm not a nurse, or I'm not a dentist? So the answer to that question is yes, you are. There is no legislation out there to say that you cannot inject because you're not a doctor or a nurse. Now, so medics and non-medics can train in botulinum toxin and dermal filler. And the main difference is that you will need to have a nurse prescriber, a doctor prescriber. So yes, you can inject it, but with botulinum toxin, you would need a nurse prescriber to prescribe you the product. With the dermal filler, you can buy the product online without a prescriber, but you will need to have a prescriber for your complications kit. So the main thing with the dermal filler is it's all good and well knowing how to inject it, but do you know what to do when something goes wrong and there's a complication that needs to be managed? That's where a lot of injectors start to panic. They will contact their prescriber, which prescribes the Hyalase, which is the dissolver to dissolve the filler that's causing a blockage. So if something does go wrong, like a vascular occlusion, and that client needs to be treated straight away, I don't care whether you're the best injector on the planet, if you don't know how to deal with that, you shouldn't be injecting. So what we decided to do with our courses is, look, I went back to scratch and thought, right, what was it that really scared me? Like I said, first thing that scared me was injecting into a real person. Now that was really, really scary. I didn't know if I'm putting a needle in, am I going too deep? Am I not going deep enough? Is it too superficial? You know, when you go on these trains and you're just handed a needle and told to inject it into a face, it's scary. So what I decided to do, like I said, I've put a lot of time and effort into this, is we purchased some dolls. Now they're quite expensive, but they're anatomy dolls. They're like real life dolls, which I will, on the next part of this, add a video of me injecting and using these dolls so you know what I'm talking about. And I feel that's going to get, as new students, get your confidence up in injecting before you actually inject into a person. With the botulinum toxin course, I've also bought some little vials, empty vials, so you get used to just getting a syringe and getting the feel of the syringe and, you know, pulling up the products into the syringe. Well, it won't be product, it will be water that you will inject into the doll's heads. Now these doll's heads are real life looking human doll's heads. I was very excited when I got them. So everything I've tried to think of is everything that I had a massive issue with. So here are our dolls, and I'm sure you can agree with me, they are very, very lifelike. So when we start injecting Botox, we have got these little vials. I'm not sure because I'm trying to record whether you can see this as well. So these little vials, the lids come off. So they're like Botox bottles. And what we're going to start by getting you to do is to put the water in, put the lids on. These will be crimped on top, taking the cap off, putting the needle in and actually mixing. So you will start with those couple of little bottles there, which I think is really good for you to be able to know how to start mixing it up. So once it's all reconstituted and you've mixed it and it's in the vial and you're pulling them out, you're then going to use the dolls to inject. So with Botox, we use a insulin syringe. And for dermal filler, it's a Luoloc, usually a 1 ml Luoloc syringe. But we'll do another video explaining about the Luoloc and the dermal filler syringes later down the line. What the plan is with these dolls is I'm hoping it's going to help you because they are like real human beings. If you touch the skin, the lips move like real humans. So these are going to be mainly used for our dermal filler courses. As you can see, even the noses, everything feels like a real human face. The reason we got this one was for the anatomy, so we can show you what happens when a vascular occlusion happens. So I think that'd be really good to actually see the anatomy. A lot of people learn physically seeing, so I thought these would be really, really good. And they are very human-like, like a head. So what you can do with these dolls, each of them, I'm just going to move these down out of the way, they bend down so you can inject into them. So you'll get your client into a position that you want them into. So I'm going to do some videos on these in a second so that you can see. So then we just bend the head back up. So let's get on with the next video so you can see how they all work. So the reason that we got the anatomy doll in the middle is so that we can show you physically what happens with a vascular occlusion. So a vascular occlusion happens when you block an artery. So I'm just going to show you what happens. So if you go over and you went into the vein and then you accidentally injected into it, this is what happens. Can you see the bubble that's coming up? It occurs when you hit an artery. So a little bit hard to show you on these dolls. So if I was to just put the needle in and stretch, I'm not sure if you can see this, put the needle in, just go here and then inject, that is what the vein, I mean, I know it's not ideal, but that's what happens. It blocks the vein inside. So these dolls can only show you a certain amount. So it comes up like a little bubble inside the actual artery itself. So if I just inject that, that'll go down. With the Botox, we'd have it all marked out as to the areas we would go. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be going in, looking at the area, going in with your needle, and then putting in what you'd like to put in. So you can see they move like real dolls. So you get the general idea of what they're used for, but it's just the fact that they're so movable that you can use them to inject even the nasolabial folds. Everything feels like it would on a real life person. You know, the nose, the lips, everything. So this is why we chose these to train with. So with each of the courses, the botulinum toxin and the dermal filler course, you will get a kit. That was another thing I felt was missing from my course, not knowing what I needed, what needle, what syringe, what gauge was it, what length was it, because it's all quite a lot when you're doing these courses. So we decided with the botulinum toxin course, you will do 2 days online modules. So that will be the facial anatomy course you will fully do online. The second lot of modules will be for the botulinum toxin before you come into us. And then you'll come in and do 2 practical days. The first practical day, we're going to run them, I think we decided 10 till 4. So it's going to be a full 6 hours of, we'll go back through what you've been going through on the portal and explain it. That whole day is going to be for you to work on the dolls' heads, go over it, pull up the syringes with the water, get used to what the needle does, and know everything you need to know about botulinum toxin. The second day will be your models, which you will need to get the models and bring them into the academy. It's only because we offer so many different courses and it is a struggle at times to try and get models in. Our dermal filler course is 3 days online and 2 days practical. So the reason why this has got an extra day is that the 3 days would be the facial anatomy course that you would do online. Then you would do the actual dermal filler modules online, ready for when you come in. And there's also an online complication set of modules, which is really important. So all 3 of those modules you will complete before you come to us. On the first day of training, we will talk about prescribers and what dermal filler actually does. We will go over all the complications. I think I'm going to do that on the second day when you do your models, but we may switch that up and do that on the first day. It's everything that you're going to, so you feel confident injecting on your model that you're going to be bringing in on the second day. Now, with that, I remember back that when I had my models, there was about 5, 6, 7 people standing around the bed. That made me more nervous. What I want to do is for you to be injecting separately. So although your models will turn up, the other students are only going to teach 2 or 3 to a class. So the other students will be getting on with practical, injecting into the doll's head while you're actually injecting your client. So it makes you less nervous of somebody watching you. When I do my model, which is going to be the model that everybody can see, you will all be around the bed watching that model, and I will go into detail about the areas we're injecting. The 3 areas you'll be trained in our botulinum toxin course, Botox course, will be the glabella, which is this region here, the frontalis, which is the top of the forehead, and you will do also the crow's feet, which is around here, which is the orbiculus oculi. So they will be the 3 areas. You will cover the whole top part of the face. The lower face will come later on when we start doing our advanced Botox. The areas covered on our dermal filler course will be the lips, the nasolabial folds, which is this area here, and the marionettes, which is just down here when they come further out. So that will be the 3 areas that you will cover on the foundation course. We are going to be bringing an advanced course, but we're going to bring that later down the line. We do also offer for the students, if you want to book both courses, the botulinum toxin and the dermal filler course, you can book them both together. So our botulinum toxin and the dermal filler course is £2,000 each course, but if you book them together, you get it for £3,500. So in that aspect, it is a good saving of money, especially when you get the facial anatomy course thrown in, and on the dermal filler, the complication course. Now, complication courses are usually extra on top of a course, but I believe it does need to all be covered together. So we will do full training in all of that. We do have starter kits for both of the courses, which I think is important, and is another thing when I went on my training that I didn't really get. So we will explain the product step by step. We do have an online shop that will be selling everything you need. So there's no need to shop around and go other places. You can get it all on the online shop. Now, the online shop will be open to you once you've finished your training. So obviously with the botulinum toxin, you won't get the product because that has to be prescribed. Dermal filler, you can get them anywhere. You don't need a prescriber, but we will include everything needle syringe wise that you need for your complications kit. Obviously the Hyalase itself has to be prescribed, as does the EpiPen and some of the other products that you may need. The great thing about anybody that's training with us, we are the only centre in Essex, as far as I'm aware at the moment, that offer the new qualifier level 5 and level 7 aesthetics qualifications. Now, these are really big qualifications that the government has decided to bring to help with the problem that we have with injecting at the moment, where it isn't regulated. So they've decided to try and bring something in to regulate. So qualifier is an off-call regulated qualification. So that is what you would need moving forward. And if you have trained with us, we'll already know that we've trained you. We know we've trained you the correct way, so we can upgrade you onto those courses further down the line. Now, our level 5 should be coming in January. Don't hold me to that. It's been a lot of hard work to put these together as well. And the level 7 will follow on a couple of months later. So it is great that you could do that, and you're going to follow your journey all the way through with us. It has been hard work to become a qualified centre. There's only 5 in the whole of the UK, and we were over the moon to actually get the space. But as I say, it's been a lot of hard work. So the main points for our course is to make sure that you can inject and you feel confident leaving here being able to inject. with all of the information. We will be trying to get our nurse prescriber to come in for the day and actually talk to you about what their job is. So the main things that I'm really proud of is that we've got the dolls ready for you to inject. You will be pulling up water. You won't be always using product, but to get you confident on how to hold a syringe. That was one of my main things that I really struggled with, you know, the Botox units. A lot of people think, oh, I know where the units go, it's just a case of putting them in. You need to know what muscle does what. We will be going over that, even though that the facial anatomy course is an online course, but we will cover that during our day's training and into the second day. So we're giving you a lot of information the correct way. Our manuals, they've got quite a few pages, over a couple of 100 pages in, and I've put them together step by step. So some manuals will give you a little bit of, you know, you need to do this or you need to do that. This is an actual step by step, bit by bit, exactly where we want you to inject, exactly what we want you to do. You do need to remember that it is dependent on the actual client's anatomy itself, because it's not just one thing fits all. It doesn't. So you will get to understand that as you go along the course, but I've really put a lot of hard work into this and hope that you will appreciate it. Thank you for watching our video. I hope it's answered a lot of the questions that you had, or the common ones that we come across quite a lot, which is mainly about the prescriber and can you inject as a non-medic. And I look forward to seeing some of you on the course, hopefully.